Hey guys, so this is my Friday video that I'm making on Saturday because as I'm laying in bed last night, I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot to make a Friday video. Terribly sorry about that. Good news, I just traded a Ford Lincoln for a Samsung Galaxy tablet, which pretty chill, it's a year old, whatever, cool. Little mini computer, I guess. Now, back onto the serious issues that I'm actually made this video for, specifically Hurricane Sandy. Now, I have next to little to no proof whatsoever, so these are just wild, crazy theories that may or may not prove out to be true, but I thought I would share them with you guys because I think they're rather interesting. So you've all heard of HAARP, H-A-A-R-P, the system supposedly that can create weather, or certain types of weather. Hurricane Sandy supposedly was a HAARP project, a man-made created storm solely for the purpose of what? I'm not entirely sure what the purpose of making a giant storm that killed dozens of people and caused anywhere between 10 to 20 billion dollars worth of damage and another 10 to 30 billion in lost revenue. But some people are saying that it could have been to suspend the election, start sticking people in FEMA camps because millions were without power. I don't know how many hundreds of thousands lost their home due to damage and things like that are now going to need places to stay. Luckily they have all these fully staffed but yet empty FEMA camps all over the country, so maybe they'll start sticking people in them. So what did I say? Stall the election, put people in FEMA camps, martial law, declaring a national state of emergency where the president takes over all of these supposed... I think he has the ability now to take over every radio station, TV station, and any... This is the best part. Any food, water, transportation, electricity, or anything that the president deems necessary. So basically he could take away everything, say it's all government property now, you can't use any of it because it's a national emergency. I don't know how that makes sense, but that's supposedly the law. So I like the stalling the presidential election. Now this one seems likely, and interestingly, I was just reading an article from last year, like September 2011, on a guy who was talking about how, hey, President Barack Obama, because supposedly somewhere along the lines of he wants a communist world, is going to somehow suspend the 2012 election, interestingly enough, about a week and a day, I think, before the 2012 election, which is on the 6th, in 3 days, may or may not be stalled. They haven't said anything about it. I've tried finding information whether or not it has been cancelled. As far as I can tell, it hasn't been, or else the big mainstream media would have picked up on it. All these little sites, they're like, I thought it might have been legit, like the New Yorker, like, oh, President Obama has stalled the election, and Joe Biden is a giant turkey. And you're just like, oh yeah, it's okay. All these sites saying it's not, or it is, but they're funny sites, not true. So anyway, millions of people without power. How many people have power restored? How many people are going to have the time to go out and actually vote? How many people actually care about voting right now? They're like, oh yeah, I just lost my home. My friend's uncle was just killed. I lost my dog. The water's up to my knees. And like, I don't know where all of my stuff is. Like, oh my god, I've just lost everything I've ever loved. But hey, election's in 3 days. I better go vote for a presidential candidate who might save me. Although Mitt Romney, I think he's mentioned numerous times that he wants to, you know, veto FEMA and get rid of it. And supposedly FEMA's helping out right now, and so people are like, hey Romney, you want to get rid of FEMA? Like, well, then who would help all these people? But he's avoiding the question completely. So, are the elections going to get suspended? We don't know. You can't say they will be, but it just seems logically that they might. Huge storm happens, but how long would they suspend them for? Millions of people without power, is it really, you know, a viable thing to actually go and put while the election's on? And she's like, during the midst of this whole work with Sandy, like Sandy's coming, Sandy's hitting, Sandy's left, like Mitt Romney is still campaigning about, you know, doing whole disaster reliefs and things like that. And I seen a little joke thing. One sec, baby girl, I'll be right with you. Go draw, I'll be right there. Yes? Mitt Romney's like, indeed it is. It's so tiny, it's black. And Mitt Romney's like, if there is a hurricane approaching your first home, flee to your second or third home. It's just like, I love it. He also likened the cleaning up after Hurricane Sandy to cleaning up after a football game. Okay, I'm not sure how cleaning up after like a high school football game and a disaster that has wiped out thousands of homes, killed dozens of people, and left millions without power are quite the same. I guess it's like you're picking up beer cans and you're picking up the remnants of people's lives to a millionaire who's got, you know, $250 million. Those are about the same things, like poor people stuff and garbage. Same thing. You know, my stuff is stuff, your stuff is shit. So, what do you guys think about this? I will link 2 videos in the description. One is a very interesting video displaying, or talking a little bit more about HAARP in detail, what exactly HAARP does and to what magnitude. I will have that in there. And there's another one about Hurricane Sandy to cancel elections, October surprise. I've seen a lot of this about October surprise. I am believing somehow it is linked to Illuminati and New World Order and things like that. So perhaps this is the pushing point. They want to cancel the elections or suspend them. People are going to start freaking out. Then they're going to put in a state of emergency or whatever, lock down the whole country, put in martial law, start filling FEMA camps, which are basically likened to Nazi concentration camps, although I'm not exactly sure. It doesn't matter if you're Jew, Gentile, black, or gay. Everyone supposedly is going to be going in there. I don't know if they're going to be killing people in there or what exactly they're going to be doing. Depends on who you talk to. I think if you talk to Alex Jones, they're going to stick you in there, they're going to drug you, you're going to become a mindless zombie, they'll release you back to work the machines, something along those lines, I'm not entirely sure. But and speaking of Alex Jones, I'll have a video about him coming up. Him and Julian Assange seem to have been having a little bit of a battle in the past year, and I'd like to talk a little bit about that. But that's all for this. Check out the 2 links, and I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts on this. Hurricane Sandy. As well, if you've been personally affected by this disaster, I am my deepest, sincerest apologies. My best wishes to you. I know, at this point in time, words don't really mean anything over long distance, but I really sincerely hope the best for you, and that everything turns out alright. And to all of my friends who've had friends who were affected, it's like, stay strong, be strong for them, all is good, we're all in family. So let's try and, work together and not argue like siblings, I suppose, and especially in this time of crisis. Now, peace, my friends.